Thank you for joining us today for Wilo's product launch for our Wilo-Rexa PRO-S, and we're excited that you're able to join us. My name is Tina Coleman, and I am the Corporate Training and Business Development Manager for Wilo. So on behalf of the Wilo team, thank you for joining us, and we're excited to share with you that our newest pump to the Wilo portfolio, which is our next generation submersible grinder pump engineered to meet today's toughest wastewater challenges. And again, that is our Wilo-Rexa PRO-S. So with that, we're going to begin our webinar. And joining us for today's product launch is Christopher Eller, the product manager for Wilo Water Management. And serving in this role since 2017, Christopher Eller plays a key role in Wilo's efforts to develop and manage pump and wastewater management solutions that meet the evolving demands of our water supply, our sewage, and wastewater treatment markets in the Americas region. Now, Christopher's role includes overseeing development and product strategy within the water management segment, including a full product life cycle from concept through market launch, aligning our offerings with Wilo's sustainability and efficiency goals, and ensuring that Wilo's water management solutions remain competitive, reliable, and compliant with the global standards. For the next half hour, Christopher will be discussing what sets the Wilo-Rexa PRO-S apart as we bring it to life in our portfolio for water management. I do want to mention that questions will be answered at the end, so we encourage you to add questions throughout the presentation when they're come up for yourself in the Q&A or the chat function, and we'll be able to answer those at the end of our webinar. And also, those questions and answers will be featured in our follow-up email to you so that we do have that correct information for you as well. So with that, Christopher, it is all yours.
Thank you very much, Tina, and thank you everybody for joining today and making time in your busy schedules. So as Tina mentioned, today is all about the Rexa PRO-S and some product features, advantages, customer benefits, and in general about the offering of the Rexa PRO-S. So first of all, what are we going to talk about today? So it will be what Tina mentioned already, what sets the Wilo-Rexa Pro apart, then also a comparison and then also the performance advantages over the previous model we had as a grinder pump, which was the Wilo-Rexa CUT. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the application of that product, about installation, about service, and then also how to transition from the Rexa CUT to the Rexa PRO-S. First of all, the Rexa PRO-S are grinder pumps, so they are made for wastewater and especially for non-clog applications. So if you have like fibers in your sewage or something like that, or heavy-duty applications, they come with a macerator to enable reliable pressure drainage, especially in commercial and also in municipal applications. If we come to the customer benefits of the Rexa PRO-S, they are excellent for anti-clogging reliability because of the new macerator they have. So it's a macerator with what we call a double shear effect. So we have an outside grinder and an inside grinder at the same time in this product. So we will also see pictures of that and a small video to show you how that works in particular with this double shear effect. On the other side, we optimized the hydraulics and the macerator combination for higher delivery heads at best efficiency in the market. Additionally to that, the overall installation costs for that product are very low because we use on this product a 1.5-inch discharge, which is kind of the smallest one possible. And with that, we are also able to use the smallest possible piping here. So you can work with really small pipes to bring down the general installation costs of the project. It's also designed for an easy selection for the most demanding applications by having standard article numbers. So we have this product, or will have this product on stock in the US. So you will be able to have a limited selection of products, which, but they come with, the valuable options already. But there are still some options to configure if you'd like to. On the other hand, the product is designed for a long service life with the high quality cast iron motor, always coming with 2 mechanical shaft seals and the sealing chamber monitoring as a standard. And also the general construction of the product is designed for an extended service life and for maximum stability. If we have a look to the product in detail, so first of all, we wanted to highlight 6 explicit product features here. As I already mentioned, the product comes with a radial macerator with that double shear effect to make it most reliable in all wastewater applications. Secondly, it comes with a robust cast iron motor housing and with the FM approval as standard. So all of those Rexa PRO-S always come with FM approval to make it the #1 choice for water management and also commercial buildings. The third feature is quite nice to have because the Rexa PRO-S are rated for non-immersed operation for 30 minutes. That means you can lower the water level of the pump of the sump. Just use that laser pointer here to the level of the hydraulics, so you can immerse the motor even in a submersible installation. To be able to minimize the tank volume, to have maximum flexibility with your pump, with your sump size, and make them as small as possible, and have a high switching volume there. Then the product always comes with 2 mechanical shaft seals to enhance the operational reliability of the product. Always comes with the monitoring of the sealing chamber to detect seal failures early and prevent motor damages. And we have the possibility to make customer-specific adaptations. So we could change, for example, cable length. We have options for PTC sensors instead of the standard bimetal sensors, especially for frequency converter operation or operation on a soft starter to make the product ideally suited for all your projects. There was a question yesterday, so we did the product training yesterday already about the frequency converter operation. Just for your information, the range of the frequency that is allowed here is 30 hertz minimum to 60 hertz maximum, and currently we do not approve kind of backward operation with a deregger or anything like that. So that was just a question from yesterday I wanted to answer right away. If we have a look to the duty charts, we can see that we offer a quite big range of head here. So we have 4 different duty curves available in the duty chart. First of all, the Rexa PRO-S 0322 with 5.2 horsepower and a shutoff head of round about 180 feet. Then the Rexa PRO-S 0312 with 3.4 horsepower and roughly 140 feet of shutoff head. The PRO-S 0311 with 2.3 horsepower and roughly 120 feet of shutoff head, and the S0302 with 1.5 horsepower and roughly 90 feet of shutoff head. If we compare that to what we offered so far, so in comparison to the Rexa CUT GI, we can see that we expanded the duty chart here dramatically. So the maximum shutoff head was previously at around 140 horsepower. So we get now quite a bigger range compared to what we had before with the Rexa CUT GI. What is also remarkable is that we were able to downsize the motors because of the higher hydraulic efficiencies of this product compared to what the GI had to offer. So as you can see, the GI 0330 and 32, which are now pretty equal to the S0302 duty curve wise, had to use 2 horsepower, while the Rexa Pro-S only needs 1.5 horsepower to cover, or 1.5 horsepower motor to cover the same curve. The same with the CUT GI 0343. That's used or had to use a 3.4 horse motor compared to the S0311, which covers again pretty much the same duty curve as before with 2.3 horsepower. As you can see, the 3.4 horsepower motor now delivers a lot more head than the previous option. And yeah, as I mentioned, this 5.2 horsepower curve, that comes totally in addition to what we had so far. Now we can have a detailed look into that hydraulic I was talking about. So first of all, the hydraulic comes always with 2 mechanical shaft seals. In this X-ray view, we only see the outer one here. So this portion here until this line here, that's the outer mechanical seal of the product. As the next one, we got the pump housing. So everything that's below that line here is the pump housing. Then we have on that pump housing always a 1.5-inch discharge. We got a 2-channel impeller in that pump with 0.43 inch of ball passage, and we got the macerator unit, which is replaceable. So you there's a spare part article number available for this macerator. Once it wears, you can just replace the macerator. You don't have to replace the full hydraulic or something like that. And just for your information, the standing blade is mounted with screws. So you can see here a few holes. One is here, and one is back here. So there are 3 screws that, as for the assembly of the standing blade of the macerator, and the rotating blade is fixed through or is assembled with the impeller fixation screw and 2 parallel pins, which you can see here and here, to the impeller. So the rotating blade always rotates with the impeller. If we have a detailed look to the specifications, so the macerator unit is made out of a durable, hardened, special stainless cutting steel. It's stainless steel IC 440B. And it's always with that double shear effect. So it has an outside cut and an inside cut. We will see that in a video on the next slide, how that actually works. And it cuts all the solids in the sewage to roughly 0.4 inches on average, depending on flow behavior and obviously the type of solids. This new macerator has a cutting speed of 82 feet per second on the outside, and all the hydraulics are optimized to deliver the maximum head with the lowest energy consumption. Now we can have a look to a short video to see what this double shear effect is about I was talking about. So we'll see now how cloth is cut on the outside and on the inside of that macerator. So first of all, you can see there is an outside blade which cuts the cloth in like smaller portions first before it enters the hydraulic, and then we have an inside blade which cuts it in even smaller particles, and then from there on it goes into the impeller, and from there on into the hydraulic. We can have a look to that again because it's quite short. So we have the external cut first, the outer cut, and then the internal cut, where it cuts again to make the particles even smaller before they enter the hydraulics. Okay, now if we have a look to the technical data of the Rexa PRO-S, so as I mentioned, it always comes with a discharge port of 1.5 inch. It's a 125 pound ANSI flange. The weight is depending on the size of the pump, so depending if it's the 1.5 or the 5 horse motor, it's somewhere between 84 pounds and 113 pounds. The maximum delivery head, as I mentioned, is roughly 180 feet. And we have different main supply options here. So on the one hand, we have single phase options, which are available in 230 volts for the two lower curves with 1.5 horsepower and 2.3 horsepower. And we do have three-phase options in 230 volts and 460 volts on all of the curves. So the 1.5, the 2.3, the 3.4, and the 5.2 horsepower curve. Then we always use the gray cast iron motor housing option on the Rexa PRO-S. So we'll see later on a comparison to the Rexa CUT. There we still had the stainless steel sheet metal motor housing. So this is one main differentiator here. Then we have the continuous operation mode for immersed operations. So if it's underwater, it can work pretty much 24/7 if you'd like. If you want to emerge the motor housing, you're able to do that for in operation for 30 minutes, which is usually sufficient to empty the tank, because we're just talking about like from the top of the motor housing, so when it gets emerged to the bottom of the hydraulics. The pumps always come with FM approval as standard, and they fall under our regular water management warranty. So for the Rexa products, this is 1 year. And just some typical installation or application examples would be railway station, industrial building complexes, or any municipal wastewater pumping station. If we compare it to our predecessor here, to the Rexa CUT GI, I highlighted here the main differentiators to the Rexa CUT. So one we saw already, so we get a way bigger duty chart than we had before, but there are also some other differentiators. The Rexa CUT GI was coming with a CCSA US approval for electrical safety. Now, this is one of the major changes I mentioned already. So with the CUT GI, we always had this stainless steel motor housing. This wasn't rated for hazardous applications. Now the Rexa PRO-S comes with FM approval for hazardous applications. So that's one of the main differentiators here, going from just the electrical safety certification to the hazardous area certification here. Then, as we've seen already on the duty curves as well, the power range expanded a lot. So in the past, we had the 2 horsepower versions and the 3.3 horsepower versions. Now we have 1.5 horsepowers up to 5.2 horse. What also changed is this emerged operation mode. With the Rexa CUT GI, you were able to emerge the pump for 15 minutes. Now with the Rexa PRO-S, you're able to emerge it for 30 minutes in operation. The motor housing difference, I've mentioned that already. So we have the stainless steel sheet metal motor or head that with the Rexa CUT GI. The Rexa PRO-S comes with the gray cast iron version. And another big differentiator here, the CUT GI. So the GI was standing for grinder internal. So this one only had the internal macerator, and the Rexa PRO-S comes with that macerator with the double shear effect we saw on the video. Another differentiator is the maintenance. So there, the maintenance interval, the regular ones with the visual inspection and so on is still 2 years, but the maintenance interval for the general overhaul increased from 10 years or 10,000 hours to 10 years or 15,000 hours. So this is now the Pro-S is a more sturdy version, so you get a longer general or interval until the general overhaul. If we compare it to the competition, what I've already mentioned on the first slide, we offer a pretty small discharge port here with 1.5 inch to be able to work with the smallest possible pipings here. So you can always extend that to bigger piping, obviously, but you can also work with 1.5 inch pipes here compared to what the competition does with 2.5 or 3 inch discharges. The delivery head is pretty much equal to what we see with all the major competitors. So we offer around about 180 feet, while the competition has 170 to 185 feet in that area, except Liberty, which offer like 250 feet, but with way bigger motors, so with up to 15 horse. And there you can also see the big benefit of that high efficiency we have here. While others partly use vortex impellers, here we use a 2-channel impeller with the Rexa Pro-S, which brings the efficiency up a lot. So we're able to cover partly even higher delivery heads with way less power. So if you compare it, for example, Myers with 170 feet of delivery head, they would need a 7.5 horsepower for that, while we do that with 5.2 horsepower. The installation class is pretty much equal to everybody else. So our standard here is F with option for H as well, but our standard is F. So the article or the fixed articles we have here on stock or will have here on stock, they all come with the installation class F, but we'll see the options later on. So also one reason why we changed the gray cast iron motor housing is because that's the standard in the US. So all of the major competitors have those gray cast iron motor housing, and we're just we're equal there now. The immersed operation mode is pretty much the same for everybody, so that's the continuous duty. But what sets us apart here is this non-immersed operating mode, where we offer the 30 minutes. So this is tested and certified that we're able to have this product run emerge for 30 minutes without kind of overheating the motor or anything like that. And then on the approval side, we now have the FM approval with the Rexa Pro-S, which is also pretty much the market standard for hazardous locations. If we have a look to the stock articles we have, just as an information, so we will have all the different curves available on stock as of March 2026 in Cedarburg, with the lower 2 curves, so the S0302 and S0311 as single-phase 230-volt options, 3-phase 230-volt options, and 3-phase 460-volt options. And the upper 2 curves, the S0312 and S0322, as 3-phase 230 volts and 3-phase 460-volt options. So the only differentiator between the article numbers here is really the voltage. So there's no other changes between those 2 numbers here. If we have a look to the installation types, so the Rexa Pro-S is available either as a wet installation or a transportable installation. So the wet installation always goes with the suspension device EHV DN4050 2RK, or with and the transportable installation goes with the pump foot, from the Rexa CUTs already. So this is the same article number with the pump foot. With that, it's interchangeable with the Rexa CUT. So you can use, if you have an installation already with the Rexa CUT on a suspension device, it comes with exactly the same connection, so you can easily replace a Rexa CUT with a Rexa Pro-S. If we're talking about accessories, so as accessories here, we offer the quick removal system, which is I just called suspension device, EHVD and 4052RK. Then the guide pipes with it. So the guide pipes are sold separately here. So it's a 3/4 of an inch guide pipe we offer here. Then the pump base, which is the pump foot I just mentioned. And for the single phase operation, you will always need a capacitor, and that's available as a capacitor kit. Yeah, we have in our accessories portfolio as well. Next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the type key and the different standard or the standard we defined for this product. So the if we go through the type key, we have always PRO-S, which defines that it's a grinder pump. Then we have the 03, which defines the nominal discharge diameter of 1.5 inch. Then we have a specific hydraulic key for each of the curves. So what I mentioned earlier with 0 to 11, 12, and 22. And we have a characteristic curve number, which doesn't really apply for 60 hertz, but in 50 hertz, we have for the same hydraulics partly different curves. So we have this curve number in here, and we have the material execution. So A is the only available material execution here, which is the standard cast iron execution. And we have a dash, which separates the hydraulic portion of the type key from the motor. And if we have a look to the motor specifically, we have a number 2, which defines the number of poles. And we have, for example, a number 1, which is the efficiency class. So we have IE1, but there are also IE3 options. We have the T in this case for the mains connection. So M would be single phase, T would be 3-phase. And we have a 3-digit number, which defines the motor power in kilowatts. We have the F for the FM rating, 6 for 60 hertz, and 23 or 46 for either 230 volts or 460 volts. All the units we have in stock on Cedarburg always include 49 feet of cable, include bimetal sensors, the pencil moisture electrode as standard, the insulation class F, always including FM approval, and single phase 230 volts, 3-phase 230 volts, or 3-phase 460 volts, as I mentioned. And they will, as soon as they are in stock, as I mentioned, from March on, they will have a lead time of roughly 1 to 2 weeks. If we're talking about customized versions, they are always made to order in Germany, which adds lead time, obviously, because they will be shipped from Germany. There you can then have different cable length, also the insulation class H if necessary, or if you want to have them running on a VFD, for example, you can have PTC sensors, and there's also an option for 3-phase 208 volts. And there we're talking then about of a lead time about like 8 to 12 weeks for those like custom made options that need to be shipped from Germany. Okay. As a last point, I wanted to inform you about what documentation is available. So as of yesterday, the PRO-S is available in IntelliQuip. So you can make your selections in IntelliQuip for those products. Then the online catalog documentation will be available as of January. So I guess mid of January was the date I got. They are already included in the newest water management price book, which was sent out, I think, last week, if I'm not wrong. Then we have a product brochure available, which will be in the online catalog, but you will get that right away with the can answer that in the follow-up email.
Okay, perfect. Right, that looks like that was probably our last question here. So I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, especially before the holidays, to join us for our product launch of the Wilo, the Rexa PRO-S.